So things are really heating up in Fuji land. I'm still using the X-M5. I still love it, and I've bought a ton of equipment. I've got a ton of review equipment to go through with the camera, and we've got some special stuff for you guys as well, which I think you're going to absolutely love. But today is all about lenses and the lenses that I use. So I do have the kit 15 to 45, and it's a decent lens I suppose, but it's only a kit lens and it doesn't do the things that I want it to do. So the first lenses that I've got for the Fuji X-M5 are the 35mm 0.95 and the 50mm f1.4, and they're both from a company called Brightin Star. Now Brightin Star sent me these two lenses to review, and after checking out other reviews on them, I accepted them because they are exactly what I need for this camera. They're well built, fast aperture lenses, and this one has autofocus on the 50, but the 35 is a manual only lens, but because it's f0.95, this had to be in the kit. Now you've already seen a lot of footage from these two lenses already, because the 50mm was the one I did the autofocus tests in on my first Fuji video, and the 35mm was the one I shot the whole of the film in, the DCI alpha. All of that was shot on this lens, mostly at wide open apertures. Now I'm not going to spend too much time going over the lens and specs and all that kind of stuff, because it's all very simple, and I don't even want to go into too much lens charts and stuff like that. I just want to get into how I use these lenses and what I really like about them. So as a quick overview on the 50, as I said, it's made of pure metal. There's metal everywhere. I can't even see any plastic on this lens, and it's absolutely fantastic. f1.4 metal mount. You can see the USB-C port just right there at the bottom for your upgrades, and it has a 58mm filter thread on the front. It's got a large focus ring, but no aperture ring, so this is not an aperture. You have to change aperture by using the camera controls. So I'm going to show you a few bits of footage, but first let's look at the autofocus on the Star is Born video, because as I said, the autofocus on this lens works really well. I wasn't expecting good autofocus from the Fuji with a third-party lens, which be honest, I haven't heard of. I didn't think it was going to work that well, but with the eye tracking turned on in the camera and the settings played around with a bit, the autofocus came out really nice. So in the autofocus sense, I'm really happy there. Then I was testing it out on a run and gun situation. So just say you was capturing footage of a family event, or you had friends and family round and you wanted to see what the autofocus was like. I've got some builders in my house at the moment, and they were doing some work on my bathroom and kitchen. So I decided just to take a few shots and just show you what the autofocus would act like in a real world situation. And yeah, I think it's really good. As I said, you have to know your settings though. You have to know which mode to put it in, and that's just like any other camera really. But autofocus wise, it's very good. And I really enjoy the look. The fast aperture as well gives you some nice out of focus backgrounds. So yeah, absolutely blinding. I also wanted to test this lens and the Fuji X-M5 against the Sony ZV-E1 and the Shure 85mm f1.4. Now the Sony combo will cost you around 2,600 or so, and the Fuji combo will cost you about 1,050. So there's a big difference in terms of price. Now when I did the shots, I think the shots came out really well. All of these beginning shots you can see are from the Sony ZV-E1 and the Shure 85. And the last three shots from now are from the Fuji X-M5 and the 50mm f1.4 from Brightin Star. So I think that when you're choosing the right lens to go with a crop sensor, you can achieve those shallow depth of field and shoot in low light. If there was one criticism about this lens, it was the flaring. And there was some excessive flaring when I was shooting in direct lights, bright direct lights. Brightin Star do include a sun hood, so you might want to use that if you're shooting into direct light. Next we'll look at the 35mm f0.95, and now this was going to be the star of the show for me, because I like the focal length. It ends up at around about a 50mm, something like that. And with the f0.95, I knew this was going to be great in low light. Lenses this fast will always display some sort of chromatic aberrations and stuff like that. Some good, some not so good, but you've always got to expect it no matter how expensive the lens is. But this, for a budget lens, done really well. When I shot the DCI Alpha short movie, nobody complained about chromatic aberrations or anything like that. Most of it was shot wide open at f/0.95, and I think that this lens done a fantastic job, absolutely blinding. If you're going to get one lens and you're worried about crop sensor, then this would be something I recommend. You don't have to shoot at f/0.95 all the time. Even if you step down to about, f1.8, f2, you're still going to let a lot of light in whilst getting a very nice image. And just like the 50, this one is made out of pure metal as well. I don't think there's any plastic on this body at all. It's got a focus ring at the rear and an aperture ring at the front. And this one has a 52mm filter thread. On the rear, you can see the metal mount. And again, because it's fully manual, there's no USB ports here for upgrading. I've also included a clip down below so you can test the sharpness of the 35mm and yeah, just see how it looks on black skin and white skin. The shot is a bit warm, but don't worry, you can balance that in post anyway, and just see how you feel about the lens. So you will definitely see some more from these lenses. I will be doing a lot more with them, shooting some different stuff with the Fuji, so they will pop up again. I don't think there's any need for me to do any in-depth review on these lenses. You've seen how they perform, and in real world tests, if you're not pixel peeping for chromatic aberrations and stuff like that, they do absolutely fantastic for movie making. I've no doubt that you'll be able to get some amazing photos with these lenses. The links for the lenses are in the info. These aren't affiliate links or anything like that. I haven't been paid for this review, just my thoughts on these lenses, and they are absolutely fantastic. Take care guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Later.